Thank you. Almost forgot na naman. So, by way of review, guys, let me just repeat what I said a while ago. We have been looking at dplyr as a very powerful package in R to wrangle. Wrangle means to transform or to fix or to select. No? So we were working on the NYC flights package, which contains several data sets. No? One of the data set is flights. So sabi natin si flights consists of, that's 1 out of 16 variables. 1 out of 16 no? 1, 2, 3, 1 out of 16. 336, more than 336,000 observations. Ay, hindi pala, sorry. 19 variables. No? 19 variables yung napapakita lang 1 out of 16. But there are 19 variables here. Okay, up to time R. All right, so going back, we said that we looked at the different verbs in the dplyr. We looked at the filter verb, the summarize, the group by, mutate, and arrange. Now, I strongly urge you guys to review this. No? Hindi pa pwede kasing natututunan kagad yung R sa isang sitting. Mas maganda yung nare-review siya. Familiarity breeds expertise and competence. So, I've been using dplyr for a number of years na rin. Kaso, personally, I don't memorize codes unless talagang very important for me. So, I tend to just refer to it when I need it. Pag kailangan talaga, yun yung mga minememorize ko. But otherwise, kung hindi naman, then I know where to look in case I need the verbs. No? And it's easy to look for codes in R kasi ang dami namang nag-share na kasi R is a very popular language, and aside from the fact that it's very it's easy to use after you get some knowledge about it. So alam na natin tong pipe operator, and then I said let's view the flights data set again. The flights data set consists of 19 variables with more than 336,000 observations. Now today we're going to learn another verb which is the join function. Importante yung join function, guys, kasi marami tayong pwedeng magawa using the join function. So, ang join function ginagamit, as the name suggests, pag meron tayong more than one data set na kailangan i-combine. Okay? So, joining or merging two different data sets. Okay. So, before we look at this, let me just show a diagram of, okay, so new share ko. Okay, so let me share this. This. Okay, can you see this, guys? Can you see the Word file? I just want to check.
Sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Screen. All right. So this is a diagram, a simple diagram of joining data sets. No? We're not going to learn everything in the join function. For us, the most important ones. And then later on your own, pwede nyo i-explore the other types of joins. No? So what's most important for us are the inner join, the left join, the right join, and maybe the full join. So these 4 joins function, there are actually 7. Yung most basic ones are 7. May iba pang klase pero hindi natin titinan yon. So for us, yung 4 ang pinaka-importante. Okay. I hope you can see it, guys. Kalakihan ko ng konti. All right. So first is the inner join. So sabi natin, guys, I said that joining data consists of looking at the relationship between 2 data sets or 2 data frames. No? Pag walang commonality sa kanila, then the join function, the join verb does not make any sense. You only use the join function or the join verb if there are common variables in both data sets. For example, the left side here, your left data set, that's data set 1, and the right one in the blue color is your data set 2. Now, take a look at this overlap in the middle, yung green na yan, okay? Now, in the inner join function allows us to get this, yung common between the data set 1 and data set 2. Okay? So yun ang inner join. Yung variables na pareho sa kanila, pwede natin i-consolidate into one data frame yon, one data set. So that's actually the easiest, yung inner join. Now, how about the left join? Take note of the left join. Pag left join, ang pinakabida dyan, yung nasa left na data set, no? Paano natin malalaman yan? Pag nag-code tayo sa R, yung unang data set na i-mention natin, yun ang magiging bida natin, to put it loosely. So pag sinabing left join, we take into consideration lahat ng data set 1, okay, plus isasama natin yung common sa data set 2. Okay, so hindi lahat sa data set 2 ang masasama. Ang masasama lang sa data set 2, yung common sa kanila ni data set 1. Alright, is that clear? So what will now the resulting data set look like? Well, it will be a new data set. If we choose it to be that way, it will be a new data set which includes all the elements of data set 1 plus, okay, the joining of your data set 1 and data set 2. Yung common sa kanilang dalawa, isasama natin. So that's your left join, which is distinguished from the right join. Pag right join naman, ang unang titingnan yung nasa right. In this case, yung nasa right will be data set 2. Okay? So lahat ng nasa data set 2 plus whatever is common between data set 2 and data set 1, yung overlap na yon. Yun ang kasama, no? All right? Fourth, we have the full join, no? Full join, which will include everything. So lahat kasama. Kasama si data set 1, kasama si data set 2, plus any intersection between them. Okay, tapos si semi-join at saka anti-join, medyo kakaiba to. Kasi si semi-join, you start first with the intersection, okay? Start with the intersection and then subtract anything that's in the data set that's blue, yung data set 2. Now, visually parang ang hirap i-conceive, but that will be clearly explained by an example. So at least may idea tayo na kapag semi-join, we start with the overlap, with the intersection, and then may binabawas tayo coming from one data set. Okay? Anti-join naman, okay? Si anti-join, it will only include data set 1 and will exclude the intersection. So in other words, parang yung bilog na yellow na kinagatan, na tinanggal yung green. Okay? Can you visualize that, guys? Yung yellow data set, tapos tinanggal yung green. It looks like a circle that has been, whose portion has been beaten off. No? That's, I think that's the a graphic way to describe it. Okay, clear so far, guys? Just take note of this. Ang madelay dyan yung apat, no? Itong semi at saka anti-join, yun na medyo mas mahirap perceive visually. But that can easily be explained by an example. Meron pang isa yung kasama lang yung dataset 2 and dataset 1 excluding the overlap. That's another type of joining data. Okay, so it's like dataset 1, it's like the anti-join, pero isasama natin yung dataset 2. Ang hindi kasama lang yung overlap. So in other words, it's the opposite of yung inner join. Whereas the inner join includes only the overlap, that type of a join excludes this time the green, the overlap. Okay, so enough with that visual illustration. Let's start with an example, an illustration of this. Okay, so here are, I did not give this set to you guys because I want you to be the one to code this. Kahit hindi na lang kopyahin muna yung mga notes dito kasi ibibigay ko naman to later after the class. Okay, so let's review the flights data set. Okay, so we already wrote the code for this, yung view flights, and we said that there are 19 variables and more than 336,000 observations. Okay, now there's a question here. Okay, there's in the flights data set, there's a variable called carrier. Now yung carrier na to, guys, tingnan natin ha. Where's carrier here? Carrier is here. You see this UA, UAAA, B6. These are the codes for your airlines. No? Iba't ibang airlines to. Now you might be wondering bakit hindi na lang sinama dito yung yung another column and then i-explain diyan, nakalagay diyan kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng UA. Isn't that a valid question, guys? What do you think, guys? Is that a valid question? Bakit na lang hindi gawing 20 variables yan? Tapos yung carrier, instead of just the carrier code, just also use the carrier name, put the name to it. No? And that's a valid question. Okay. Now there's a reason why in database terminology, in database management, you don't actually put that there. No? Unless kailangan natin, saka lang natin kukunin yung mga names na yan. Okay? So, yung carrier na yan, na UA, AA, etc., this refers to airlines. No? So, as to my question a while ago, bakit kaya hindi siya sinama? Yeah, what are listed in the carrier code? Yes, we said that these are the airlines. Ang question, guys, ganito. Paano natin malalaman yung meaning nung carriers na yan? UA, that's very easy to identify. Most probably that's United Airlines. AA is American Airlines. DL may be Delta. I'm just guessing. But how about this mga B6? And there are so many carriers here. MQ, and there are even numbers. May mga numbers na carriers, ano? So how do we know? How do we know? Yeah, 9E. How do we know the meaning of this carriers? Now that's easy to know. No? Now before we proceed with the with answering the question, yung NYC data flights na yan, okay? Can you see, guys, the Word file?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Kita nyo tong plot ng mga different data frames sa NYC flights?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, yung NYC flights, guys, consists of 5 data sets. Airports, flights, weather, airlines, and planes. Now, in the process called normalization, okay, usually magkakaroon ka ng ibang data sets for specific variables. No? For example, yung tinitingnan natin na carrier na nasa flights, di ba? Ito yung mga UA, ganyan. Sabi ko kanina, why didn't we put the exact name of the carrier in the flights data frame? The reason for that is in database terminology, there's what we call normalization. Sa normalization, guys, ang ginagawa dyan, yung mga variables that are factors usually, they are recorded in another data set. Katulad nito, si airlines data set, ando dun yung carrier na variable, tapos ando dun yung mga names ng carrier na yan. Okay? You get the point, guys? So si airlines, dalawang variables to, consisting of the code, yung carrier code, at saka yung names ng yung meaning ng carrier na yan. That's why I said a while ago, it didn't make any sense to also put names here in the flights. Kasi when we have this is called normalized data sets. No? Yung mga normalized data sets, guys, yung mga specific factors there are data frames or data sets that are created to hold those specific factors. For example, itong origin na to, no? Itong origin na to, tingnan ulit natin, let me flash again. Asan si origin dito? Okay, you notice this origin, no? EWR, LGA, JFK. Again, hindi binigay yung pangalan, no? Hindi binigay yung pangalan dito ng EWR, LGA. We can of course include that, but that will mean additional column or additional variable. So what's being done is that we just put the origin here, and then there's another data set, there's another data frame that will give the meaning of this. And sabi nga natin dito sa diagram na to, that the meaning of that is in, okay, yung meaning nun, nasa airlines carrier. Okay? So later on, let's view this. Tingnan natin yung kung ano yung laman nito. Okay? So what's the advantage of this? Ang advantage, guys, kapag ganito, you will not have to insert the meaning of the carrier in the flights data set. You will just carry the names in a different data set called airlines. Tapos unique yung list na yan. Okay? What do I mean by unique? Kasi dito, guys, sa flights, you see the carrier or the origin. Okay, you have many instances of UA. Ilang beses uulitin si UA dyan, ilang beses uulitin si AA, ilang beses uulitin si B6, ilang beses uulitin si EWR, LGA, JFK, etc. Okay, so what's being done is that you maintain another data set na ando dun lang, once mo lang i-identify si UA, si AA, si B6, etc. Okay, just to drive home that point, why don't we, if you nga natin, guys, airlines, okay, kindly run this, view airlines. Andiyan dyan na naman yan, nakaload dyan kasi linoad nyo na si NYC Flights. It's part of NYC Flights, if you recall. Si NYC Flights 13, marami siyang data sets. So let's run this. Pakirun nyo siya, guys. And once you have done that, I have run it already kaya hindi ko nagagawin. Take a look at this, guys. Ano laman nito, guys? Ano laman ng airlines data set? What's inside here, guys?
The names of the airlines, sir.
Yeah, names of the airlines, no? Unique. Ang tawag dito sa carrier na to, guys, which is common also to the flights dataset, this is what you call your key, KEY, or others call this the key identifier. Common sa kanila yan, no? Common. So, why need to insert another column dun sa flights containing the name? Meron na naman tayong isang dataset na ando dun lahat yung mga key identifiers, yung mga names ng carrier. Okay, so that minimizes lalo na pag malalaking datasets, tapos paulit-ulit kunyari yung a certain variable ando dun sa isang dataset, tapos yung isa ando dun naman sa isa, that will really occupy a lot of data space. Unlike this, where you quote-unquote normalize, ang tawag dyan, guys, normalize your data set, which is a database terminology. This makes the management of data sets, let's say, it makes it more manageable, no? And practical. Okay, so yun ang ginagawa, guys, sa database management. Sa flights, hindi natin kailangan ilagay dito yung name ng carrier, another column here, or yung name ng origin, or even the destination. So you'll have another data set consisting of the origin and the destination, yung mga unique names nila. Okay? Clear so far, guys?
So how were they able to create the subset of airlines, sir? Like how did they normalize it into flights?
Magka-create lang sila ng another file, no? They will just create another file. Parang ito yung airlines mo. This is another file, no? This is another file. So ang laman yan, carrier, okay? And then the name of the carrier. And going back here, So yung carrier na yan, okay? So it was used in flights, okay? But it was also used in airlines. Si airlines, guys, andi dito siya, tapos with the names pa. So ito yung primary data natin dito sa airlines, yung carrier lang. Dito naman sa airports, ang laman lang yung origin lang, no? Yung origin. Okay? So this is actually one whole subject in computer technology, you know, yung database management. But it's important for us to understand what is a normalized data set. Kung naglagay ka pa dito ng names sa flights at saka naglagay ka pa kunyari ng yung name ng definition ng origin, then hindi na normalize yung data set na yan kasi kaya nga tayo nagno-normalize para to avoid repetition of data which during that time nung mga 1980s very costly yung management kasi ng data. Mahal yung memory, no? Today hindi na siya ganun ka issue, no? Yung expensive yung storage ng data, but still the practice of normalizing data sets carried forward. So pina-practice pa rin siya ngayon kasi may naman siya, may advantage, no? May advantage naman talaga kung bakit nino-normalize yung data set. Okay, so let's continue our discussion. Okay. So sabi ko kanina, yung carrier guys, it's in the flights data set, no? And it's also in the airlines data set, yung carrier. Ang difference sila, yung nasa flights, walang name. Yung yung key identifier lang. Yung code lang niya. Meron ba tayong information about that? Yes, but it's contained in the airlines data set. So ito yung carrier, tapos ito yung pangalan niya. Again, sorry if I sound to be too repetitious about this. Again, bakit na lang hindi sinama dun sa sa carrier? Okay, it's more of economy of space. It's more of economy of it's more of a principle of in database management called normalization. Okay, so but can we create a data set containing yung flights at saka yung meaning ng carrier? Yes, we can. Diyan papasok guys yung join. Okay, so let's go there now. Okay. So here my question is, does airline contain the carrier code? Answer is, guys, yung
Yes,
airlines,
sir.
yes, it contains the carrier code, no? What if you want a data set containing both information? So gusto natin yung data set natin, merong carrier, tapos meron pa yung name niya. Pwede yun. Pwede. We will just join the two data sets. Ito na nga yung joining, guys. Yung carrier code, andun pareho, it's both in flights at saka kay airlines data set, di ba? Pero ang gusto natin, mag-generate tayo ng isang data set na pareho dun sa flights. Take note, pareho dun sa flights. Tapos, isasama natin yung pangalan ng carrier. Okay, I hope you're getting what we want here. Ulitin ko ano ba gusto natin dito? Gusto ko ma-maintain natin yung flights pero magdagdag tayo ng another column which contains the meaning of the carrier. Can we do that? Yes, guys. Ang gagawin natin dyan, join, yung join verb. Okay. So take note that carrier is the same, is common to both airlines. May carrier tayo dito. At saka kay flights, meron tayong carrier din. So common sila. No? Common sila. Therefore, we can join this. We can join and create another data set by joining the carrier of flights and the carrier of airlines and then generate, sabihin natin na isama yung name ng carrier na yan. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Okay. So if we can use the variable carrier as a key variable to match the rows of the two data frames. So ima-match natin, ano? Okay, key variables are almost always identification variables that uniquely identify the observations. Nakita natin yan kay airlines, no? Okay. Key variable to kay airlines primary siya dito, no? Primary siya dito. Paano ko malalaman na primary siya, guys? Kasi unique siya, mag-isa lang siya. Dito sa flights, hindi siya primary. Secondary siya. Bakit kung nalaman na secondary? Kasi umuulit-ulit siya dito. Repeated several times. Okay? So that's the distinction between the primary and secondary. Si carrier is primary as far as airlines is concerned. Okay? But it is secondary as far as flights is concerned. Ando dun siya sa flights pero it's repeated several times. In airlines, unique siya. Dito primary, dito secondary. Okay, going back to our question here. All right. Since may common sa kanila, pwede nating i-match yan. Pwede nating i-join yan. Okay, so I already showed this to you guys, yung diagram. Let me just go back to that. Okay. So meron tayong flights na dataset. Andi dito yung carrier. Meron din tayong airlines sa dataset. Gusto natin guys ipasok yung names dito sa flights. And we can do that kasi meron tayong key variable sa kanila. Key identifier, yung carrier. So how do we join? How do we do that? We can use, in this case, we're going to use left join. Bakit left? Okay, tingnan natin ha. Let me explain why it's left. Create a data frame to join carrier in both flights and airlines data frames. Take a look at this, guys. So here we're going to create an object called flights joined, okay? And then we start with flights, okay? Take a look, guys. We're starting with flights. And then, sabi natin, i-inner join natin, okay? Inner join, sino? Si airlines. Through what? Through the common variable carrier. Okay. Balikan natin to, guys. Balikan natin. Okay, what will happen, guys? So si flights daw, anong gagawin? I-inner join natin. Sino? Si ano, guys? Si airlines. Tapos, pagsasama yung, ano yung common sa kanila? Ano yung common, guys? Yung carrier. Okay? All right. So let's run this. Sige, I'll give you a few seconds to write the code. Okay, guys, have you written it? Okay, kahit ito hindi na kasi na-view na naman natin to, no? Okay, maybe we can dispense with this because we have already viewed that. So let's just, okay, let's study the code again. So we're creating an object called flights joined. Okay, magsisimula tayo sa flights and then, okay, i-inner join natin. Inner join, ano ibig sabihin ng inner join? Yung intersection with airlines through carrier. So what's happening now? What's happening? What will happen now, guys? Rinan nyo na? Okay? What happened, guys?
Sir, it added another column.
Yes. 20 variables na siya, di ba? 20 variables, sinama na niya yung names nung carrier. Okay? Kasi ginoin natin siya. So you started with flights, and then sabi natin, flights, and then you join natin yung yung elements din ni airlines via carrier. So kung ano yung common sa kanila, yung carrier, pinasok din dun sa flights dataset. So from 19 na data, 19 variables, naging 20 na tayo. Sinama na yung yung name na variable which came from airlines. Okay? Clear yan, guys? Alright, so in question dito, how does flight and flights join compare with each other? Well, we answered this question. Sabi natin, si flight 19 variables to. Si flights joined 20 na. Okay, kasi sinama na natin, nag-inner join na tayo, sinama natin yung intersection. Notice we started with flights, ano? Flights muna, tapos in-inner join natin yung dun sa airlines, yung carrier. Okay. Now, let's go to the next one. Now, sometimes, although hindi siya magandang practice, variables may be named differently in datasets. Ito. I showed this a while ago. This is not good practice kasi, tinan nyo to. What's not good practice here? Compare nyo sa airports at saka flights. What do you think is not good practice? Any guess, guys? Okay, tinan nyo guys. Si planes, this is a data set. Tail number dito yung primary key. Okay? Okay, o nga pala guys, another way to determine whether it's a primary key. Tingnan nyo to, no? Yung may ano dito, may semicircle dito. This is indicating that this is a primary key, no? Ayan, no? Primary key yan. Primary key. Okay? Okay. So, as much as possible, sana guys, yung mga primary keys natin, dapat pareho yung pangalan. Pero wait, I haven't really checked yung FAA ni airports. Pero kasi dalawa siya, no? Either origin or, okay, now I understand, okay? So, pinagsama pala sa airports, both the origin and the destination, and it was called FAA. Pag isa lang yan, guys, kunyari, let's assume that walang destination, ano? Let's assume that there's no arrow here for destination. As much as possible, good practice dictates that kung ano yung primary key nyo na ginamit, yung variable name, dapat pareho din dito sa secondary. Dito may purpose naman pala siya, no? Hindi ko na-notice to. Na yung FAA pala consists of both the destination and the origin names. Kaya binago niya yung pangalan. Okay, for as long as yung mga nagmamanage ng data, ng database, alam naman nila yung distinction, then that will be fine. But take a look at this, si carrier, kay airlines, na primary dito, pagdating dito kay flight, secondary siya, pareho yung pangalan. No? Dito, si year, month, day, hour, origin, dito yung nandito as primary din to, no? Yung origin, okay? Pareho lang dito sa mga pangalan dito. All right. So let's go back here to our question. Okay, referring to the diagram I just showed, how does FAA in airports compare to origin in flights? So sabi natin medyo iba. I-view muna natin sa airports, ha? Na-view na ba natin to? Okay. So ito, guys, ito yung si airports natin. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 variables. Okay. May latitude, may longitude, altitude. This is time zone, DST. I think what's DST? Time zone din yata to, no? Or daylight saving time, maybe daylight saving time to. And then time zone, okay? Sa US kasi yata, including Hawaii, there are 6 or 7 different time zones. Expansive kasi yung US geography. So FAA consists of, ito na yung origins and destinations. No? Yung pangalan ng mga airports. So 04G is Lansdowne. Okay. So there are how many? Ilan yung hindi nakalagay yung unique identifiers natin. Okay. 1,400, ito pala, sorry. 1,458 unique names ng arrivals at saka origins at saka destination. And the names of the airports. Okay, for example, ZYP is Penn Station. Okay. TVL is Lake Tahoe Airport, etc. Alright. So ang gusto natin, back to our problem, we want that i-join natin yung origin kay flights. Kasi kay flights, guys, ito yung origin natin. Okay. Origin. Gusto natin malaman kung ano yung ano yung JFK, LGA, AWR by creating another variable that will specify this, the meaning of this. So back to our code. Tingnan natin yung code natin. All right. So we're calling it flights with airport names. Again, from the flights data set, ipapasok natin yung inner join. Ano inner join, guys? Intersection from the airports, intersection ng flights at saka ng airports by, okay. Kung magkaiba yung pangalan, guys, kailangan we'll use this concatenator, okay? Destination is equal to FAA. Okay, so ang tinitingnan pala natin sa flights, guys, itong destination. No? We want, ano ba itong MIA? Ano ba to? Miami ba to? Ano itong BQN? ATL, Atlanta ba to? Orlando ba to? Florida, etc., etc. So what do this stand for? San Francisco, LA? Well, sa dami yan, guys. We'd like R to insert in the flights data set the meaning of these destination variables. Okay, and this is how we're going to do it. No, let's create this object, flights with airport names, and then again our dplyr flights, the flights data frame, and then isama natin, inner join natin yung intersection niya with airports by yung destination equal to FAA. So ang sinasabi ni R dito, yung airports, yung FAA na to, okay, equal yan dito sa destination na to. They're the same. Okay. Kunyari, MIA, kung titingnan natin sa airports, okay, asan yung MIA? MIA is MIA. There. Miami International. Okay, so we're going to join that. All right, I'll give you a few seconds to write the code, please. Okay na, guys? Feedback, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So run ko compare natin yung yung answers natin kung pareho. So without running first, I'm expecting here a data set with the name flights with airport names. It's the flights data set. Tapos, sinama pa natin yung another column, no? Na may intersection niya with the airports, defining yung destination and yung as the same as FAA. So, i-run natin, i-run ko. Okay. So what do we have here? So here is our flights with airports, airport names. And then bakit siya naging 26 variables, guys? Tingnan nyo. What happened, guys?
Sir, it added the columns from the airport. Data.
Yes. Yes, tingnan nyo ha. Kasi, ano ba laman ni airports? Di ba ang laman ni airports yung FAA? And sabi natin kanina dun sa code, destination is equal to FAA. Okay? So primary data to dun sa ano sa airports. So what happened was, okay, what happened, guys? If you take a look at the flights with airport names, okay. Hanggang dito sa time R, this is your flights. And then sinama niya si name, si latitude, longitude, altitude, time zone, distance, time zone, etc. Okay? So lahat ng variables na kasama dun sa airlines, sinama niya, no? So now you have a data set, flights with airport names, consisting of the flights data set plus the content of the FAA dun sa airports. Okay, as we go along, guys, paano kung ang gusto ko lang yung name? Okay, there are several ways to do that, no? Pwedeng from this, okay? Ano yung gagawin nyo, guys, para magtanggal ng ibang ano? Para magtanggal ng ibang variables? What's the function there? Kasi meron tayong variable ngayon na data set ngayon na flights with airport names, ito. Tapos it consists of the flights, remember? It consists of the flights plus yung 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 na ulit tong time zone at saka yung lahat ng laman din ng ano ng ng airports. But if you want only the name, anong pwede natin gawin, guys? Kasi let's say I don't need the latitude, the longitude, the altitude. Paano kaya? Okay, there are several ways to do that. Sige, we'll address that. Ituloy muna natin example natin. By the way, guys, konting minutes lang tayo. Ang isasend ko sa inyo yung file, guys, it will include other examples of joins. No? Kasi yung ginawa kong file ngayon, it's only specifically to fill in yung time natin ngayon. Pero yung isasend ko to later after the session. But I'm going to include other types of other examples of joins. No? Okay, so let's continue first. We will answer that question in a while. Okay. Okay, ito naman, guys, this is an example where we are now combining, no? Okay, parang ano na to, parang pinagsama-sama na natin yung iba't ibang different verbs that we were looking at. Okay? If you recall, anong ginagawa ng group by? Okay, let's run through this, guys. Let's look at this one by one. So we're creating an object called named destinations. Ang gusto kasi natin, how many flights are there from New York City to each destination? Okay? So New York City, alam naman natin na si New York City, ilang airports doon? Guys? Take a look at flights. Okay. Origin, New York City lahat to, no, di ba? So, andyan sa origin yan. Ilan yung airports natin, if you recall, guys? Nare-recall niyo ba kung ilang airports dito? Ilan?
3.
Three. Yes, correct. Three. JFK, LaGuardia, LGA, at saka yung Newark, EWR, no? So, yun yung ano, yun yung ano natin, yun yung airports dito. So, dito sa ano na to, sa code na to, ang tinatanong kasi sa atin, ilan daw flights from New York City to each destination? So, in other words, ilang flights from LGA to all the other destinations, EWR to all the other destinations, and JFK to all the other destinations. So, ang ginagawa natin ngayon dito, create an object called name destinations, and we're using the flights data set, and then i-group by muna natin, i-group by destination natin. Okay? Pag nag-group by na natin by destination, okay, ano mangyayari? Then isa-summarize niya, no? Yung number of flights, create an object called number of flights, and it will be the count, no? Bibilangin niya, and then arrange niya descending, yung variable na to, i-create niya yung number of flights, i-arrange siya descending, ibig sabihin from highest to lowest, and then i-inner join niya sa airports, yung destination is equal to FFA, and then i-rename niya yung airport name by name, and then name destination. Sige, I'll give you, have I given you a few seconds to copy the code? Hindi pa? Nakopy nyo na, guys?
Not yet, sir.
Oh, sige, I'll give you a few seconds. Copy nyo muna yung code, guys, then i-run natin, tingnan natin kung ano nangyari sa code na yan. Okay, guys? Finished?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, sige, run natin, ha? Run. Okay, so the result is a table 101 observations by 9 variables, no? Okay, so what happened here, guys? Tingnan muna natin yung output, ha? Name destinations, sana siya? Let me view it here. Yan, para mas kita natin. So what do you have now, guys? 101 entries. Are these unique? Are these unique, guys? May repetition ba to? Answer, please.
Parang wala, sir.
Unique to, no? Unique. So, ang ginawa niyan, kinuha lahat ng mga destinations. Tapos, ano ginawa dito? What's this one, guys?
Sir, I think it counted number of flights na galing dun sa destination na yun.
Galing sa destination? Or papunta sa destination?
Napapunta, sorry, sir.
Kakalito, no? Galing sa destination. Okay, so papunta sa destination from where?
New York City, sir.
From New York City, no? So from New York City, lahat ng papunta ng, ano to? Chicago, O'Hare, no? Chicago O'Hare International Airport, whether it's from, tingnan natin, di ba? Dito, guys, sa New York, sa ano natin, sa New York, either galing sa JFK, galing sa LaGuardia, galing sa Newark, ang ginawa dun, guys, lahat ng galing sa JFK, LaGuardia, Newark, which are the airports of New York City, lahat ng papuntang Chicago O'Hare International Airport, inad niya, no? So all in all, 1,783. So we can see here that all flights coming to New York, ang pinakamaraming destination is Chicago, no? Ang pinakamaliit na destination, pinakakonte is, but may LaGuardia to LaGuardia. Ano kaya to, guys? No? May record na flight to from to LaGuardia. Okay, then we can check this kung saan galing to, kung Newark ba to? It's like from one airport in New York going to another airport in New York. No? But disregarding this, guys, yung Bluegrass Airport, I don't know where this is, tapos ANC, sila yung pinaka-konti, no? Anchorage, this is Alaska, no? So, konti lang yung mga flights from New York going to this. Ito yung mga konti kasi we had arranged this in a descending order. So we can see that yung top 10 nila, top 10 flights are going to Chicago, Atlanta, Los Angeles, Boston, Orlando, etc., no? San Francisco, with a big chunk of the flights going to Chicago. Okay, so again, guys, tingnan natin let's just quickly review the code, no, for better appreciation. So yung flights, guys, ang ginawa natin dyan, group natin yung mga destination. Ibig sabihin, pinagsama-sama lahat ng destination. And then, from there, binilang, no? Sinummarize, nag-create ng variable na number of flights is equal to n ng mga yung mga groupings na yan. And then inarrange siya in descending order, and then sinama pa yung data ng airports, sinama yung data kasi may destination tayo dito, no? Pinagsama dun sa FAA ni airports. Okay? And then rename lang yung airport name by name. Kaya if you take a look at the final output here, yung name ginawang airport name. Kasi sa airports, no? name yung pangalan niya eh. No? Name lang. So ginawa ditong airport name. Okay, so using the rename function and then print the data. Okay? So I know guys, hindi siya ganun kadali at saka matagal kasi tayo kaya kailangan mag-build up ulit tayo guys. So I will send immediately this one plus other codes para paki-review guys, no? Paki-review kasi this will be our last sa Wednesday, part lang nun we'll finalize yung sa sort, sa join and other codes, and then we go already to another topic which is EDA, exploratory data analysis. Okay. Some more guys, pwede ring hindi lang yung i-join natin isa. Pwede ring multiple key variables. Okay, sabi ko sa inyo that kanina, if you take a look at this, yung common sa flights at saka sa weather, year, month, day, hour, origin. Ito yung common sa kanila, no? Alright? Tapos yung primary niya nasa weather. Okay, bakit? What do you mean by primary, guys? Ano ibig sabihin ng primary? I-view nga muna natin si weather dito. Insert tayo. Insert. View. Let's view weather first. Okay, so ito yung laman ni weather, ano, guys? You have year, month, day, hour, temperature, okay? Wind direction, etc., etc. So there are, see weather, asan na siya? There are 16 variables all in all with 26,115 entries. So we're going to create another object and we're going to join yung year, month, day, hour, see? Year, month, day, hour, origin. Okay, so we're going to create an object called flights. Yung flights at saka si weather, i-join natin. So this is our data set flights, data set weather, i-join natin. So we'll start with flights data set and then i-combine natin siya with weather by, ito yung mga primary, yung mga common nila, si year, si month, si day, si hour, at saka si origin. Okay, so I'll give you again a few seconds to write that and then we run. Okay. Okay na guys, i-run ko. Okay, what happened? So we created an object called flights weather joined. Flights weather joined, 29 variables siya, no? So ano yung ginoin dito? What was joined here, guys? Kasi hanggang dito guys, hanggang sa time hours yung ano, 'di ba? Yung flights, no? So anong sinama sa kanya? Okay, again, take a look at weather, guys.
Ng weather.
Oo. Ano ba laman ni weather? Yan. Temperature, dew point, humidity, wind direction, wind speed, etc. No? And then we joined flights with weather. So ano nangyari? What happened, guys? Yung common sa kanila na month, day, ano yung code natin? Month, day, year, month, day, are origin. Year, month, day, ano pa yan? Year, month, day, are, and origin, guys. Are and origin, okay? R and origin, kinombine yon, no? Yung intersection nila. And then sinama yung information na temperature, dew point, humidity, etc., which all came from the weather data frame. Okay? All right. Magta-time na, guys. I need to remind you about something, no? So I'll post this later together with the video, and let me just quickly explain this to you bago mag-time kasi baka hindi natin abutin to. This is what I was telling you a while ago, yung normalized data. Take note, sabi natin, yung data frames sa NYC flights are in a format or in a form that minimizes ito, redundancy of data. So what does this mean? Yung redundancy of data is what I was telling you about a while ago. Si flights, bakit yung pangalan ng origin, kung ano man ang ibig sabihin nito, no? O kaya bakit yung pangalan ng carrier, hindi linagay kay flights, yung code lang. Kasi yung code na yan, may ibig sabihin yan, di ba? May names yan. Now, as I said a while ago, you do not do this kasi database management dictate that you don't have to repeat the same. No? Yung ano ibig sabihin ng carrier na yan, kunyari AA, kung meron ka na lang isang data set ulit na andun naka-record, andun naka-store yung information na yan, so much the better. And kung kailangan mo na lang, saka mo na lang gamitan ng, remember that, guys, yung SQL, yung SQL, Structured Query Language. Again, it's the economics behind it. Especially when this was starting to be established, ang mahal-mahal ng pag-store ng data. So they had to do something in order to make sure na hindi nagiging redundant yung data, hindi pa ulit-ulit. Yung names ng carrier andun na sa flights, andun pa rin sa, kunyari sa weather, andun pa rin sa iba't ibang data set. So no need. So kaya nag-create ng mga primary data, okay, para doon lang i-store yung mga unique identifiers or yung key identifiers. So that's the process called normalization. Okay? So yan, guys. The data frames included are in a form that minimizes redundancy of data. Okay? And that's very important for database management. For example, the flights data only saves the carrier code. Okay? Hindi yung actual name of the airline. Okay? The name of the airlines are included in the airlines data frame. Hindi na kailangan dun sa flights. Kasi kung kailangan naman natin yon, pwede naman tayong naalala niyo, guys, yung ETL from the SQL. ETL means extract, transform, and load, which is exactly what dplyr is doing. Okay? All right. So for example, in order to have the airline company name included in flights, we could join these two data frames. Okay. So this code will give us, so join flights, inner join earlier. Ito na yata ginamit natin kanina, di ba? Oh, yan. Okay, so review lang to, no? So this is what we did a while ago, no? Okay, so just some notes, no? This is possible because each of the data frames have keys. Okay? Keys in common to relate one to another. Yung carrier variable is common in both flights data frame and airlines data frame. Okay, so it becomes now possible to join. Kasi may commonality sila. So yung common na yan na na variable, yung description yan is stored in one data set. Tapos yung code na yan gagamitin dun sa ibang data sets. Ang ginagamit lang yung code mismo, not necessarily the name of the code. Okay, so is that clear, guys? Klaro ba yung pag-explain natin? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the key
Yes, sir.
variable, thank you. We base our joins on our often called identification variables. Ang tawag din sa database terminology, it's key variables or identification variables. And this is what I was telling you about yung normalized data frames. It's an important property in database management. It's the process of decomposing data frames into less redundant tables without losing information. And that's called normalization. Okay? So I hope guys naging clear sa atin yung importance ng normalization. Ang normalization, importante yan to prevent bloating of your data sets. Imagine, kunyari, kung may mga common variables ka. Kunyari, sa HR, guys, sa human resource. So, kunyari sa data set ng, let's say, data set ng office, no? Name ng office. Kunyari may code yung mga offices or code yung mga departments. Imagine kung mag-i-insert ka pa ulit, kunyari you have 10,000 people, mag-i-insert ka pa ulit ng isang column na kung anong ibig sabihin ng office na yan. Kunyari may code yung office, kunyari finance department, ACC, accounting department. So when you create a certain data set, for example, for the salary, compensation nila, tapos kailangan mo yung let's say office nila, hindi mo na kailangan ilagay doon yung meaning ng office na yun. If you need that, meron ng isang primary data na ando doon yung mga codes, tapos yung pangalan, yung ibig sabihin ng code na yun. You get me, guys? Hello, you get me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I hope medyo clear yun, no? And I think we still have time, a very quick time for this. Yung select naman, madali lang to guys, no? Yung select function makes it easier to explore data sets. Linilimit lang natin yung scope ng natin, which we care about, no? Yung gusto lang natin makita. For example, ilang variables sa flight data set natin? 'Di ba 19 yan, 'di ba? 19. Okay. Pero kunyari ang gusto lang natin yung carrier at saka yung flight variables. Let's go to the flights again. Flights. Okay. Carrier, and kunyari ang gusto lang natin si carrier at saka si flight. Itong dalawa lang, guys. Only these two among the 19 variables here. If we only want these two, then we can use the select function. Ito. So here the code is from the flights, then i-select lang si carrier at saka si flight. Okay, so this is very easy. Select lang siya. Okay, so what it generates is just a table with two variables, si carrier at saka si flight. Of course, we could have created an object out of this. No? Okay. Pwede rin guys i-deselect. No? Pwede rin i-deselect. Kunyari, si flights dataset, again, si flights dataset, going back here, flights. Okay, meron siyang variable na year. Alam naman natin at NYC, ito 2013 lahat yan di ba? So if we don't want to include this in our flights, if we want to create an object where wala yung 2013, kasi alam naman natin na 2013 lahat yan, kasi this is the record of 2013 flights, then we can remove that. We can deselect that. Okay, so the code will be, yan. So let's create this flights, no year, And then from the flights, we select, okay, pero minus year. Ibig sabihin, wag na isama si year. So pretty much the same as yung mga base R na natutunan natin na isa-subset. No? Kaso nga lang dito, hindi tayo gumagamit ng parenthesis. Unlike sa base R, dito, yung select function na mismo. Okay, so if you click this, you're going to create an object called flights no year. Okay. Hindi ko view. View ko na rin. View. Okay. So this is flights no year, guys. Tingnan nyo. Tinanggal na yung year. Okay, that's what the select function can do. Okay, another way of selecting columns is you specify the range of columns, which means you select all the columns between month and day, as well as between arrival and scheduled arrival time, and drop the rest. So ito selected lang din, no? So create an object, flights, arrival times. So using the flights data frame, select lang si month hanggang day, tapos si arrival time hanggang scheduled arrival time. So, bali yung variables lang, month hanggang day. So, very quickly guys, flights. So, months hanggang day, so dalawa lang. Tapos arrival time at saka scheduled arrival time. So, from arrival time to scheduled arrival time, dalawa siya. From months hanggang day, dalawa siya. That means we're going to create an object with 4 variables. I-view ko na lang to, para mabilis. View. Run, okay? So you have here an object called flight and arrival time. Yung month, anong month, yung day, ano yung arrival time, ano yung scheduled arrival time. Okay, so, all right, so today we looked at the join function. What I'm going to send later, guys, is a longer version of this. May mga additional examples, plus the video, which I'm going to upload also later. So, may take-home quiz kayo, guys, ha? Take-home quiz. I'm thinking of one giving mamaya, yung isa, and then another one on Thursday. So, sorry guys, kailangan magdalawang quizzes ngayon. Take home naman siya. Pero may limited time yun ha. May window of submitting lang yun. So I'll explain na lang dun sa assignment natin. And it will cover yung ggplot at saka yung dplyr. Kasi we're almost done with dplyr. And then next meeting, just recap of this. And then we go to exploratory data analysis. And then we go to sample modules on data science. Okay? So, any questions, guys?
Hunter.
Okay, natuto ba kayo ngayon? Sana natuto kayo. Alam ko na medyo mahirap din yung matagal na layoff. One week tayo. Okay, sige. So, there being no more questions, guys. Okay, thank you. Have a good day today, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sige.
Sir.
Yes.